Ron DeLegge with ETF Guide. We're pleased to have with us Scott Burns. He's Global Director of Fund Research at Morningstar. Scott, great to catch up with you.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Let's begin by talking about the retirement crisis here in the United States. People are living longer. People haven't saved enough for retirement. Big problem.
Well, I think that there is a group of people in the U.S., and we had Jack Bogle at our conference today talk about the bottom third, who don't make enough money and probably won't be able to save enough, and that's a different social problem. But I think when we talk about the asset management industry and the advice industry and who they're targeting, that middle class, that mass affluent up to high net worth, I actually think we're kind of overstating the retirement crisis quite a bit. I mean, I think we act like Social Security is nothing or it's going to be nothing, and there may be some risk of that, but the reality is it's generally pretty sizable. It's anywhere from $25,000 to $30,000 a year if you've been working and retire, at the right ages. And so when we look at, how much we have to save, there's a lot of numbers that get thrown out there, about $100,000 a year or things like that, but I just don't think that those are very realistic for what retirees really are going to incur in terms of costs, even if they live to be 95.
Now, what about the younger generation where Social Security, they may not be getting as much as the older generation and people that are collecting today? They need to be maybe factoring that into their overall retirement plan. Talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I do think there is that risk. So again, it's a risk, but we are behaving like it's a certainty. In fact, I would dare find any financial plan where they say, here's your money, here's how much you need to save, here's the income, and where's Social Security? It's just assumed to be a zero. I mean, in fact, even I save that way, and I'm kind of like, why am I doing that? The other thing that happens is on the cost side, and I think people aren't very realistic about how much money they need in retirement. If you take care of business during your middle-aged years and you pay off your house and you pay for kids' college and you take care of all those types of debts, when you go into retirement, assuming you go in debt-free, your outlays annually are basically going to be your property taxes, your utilities, your early bird specials, maybe some spoiling the grandkids.
Medical cost?
Well, medical costs, I think, there's a reason we have a giant Medicare problem. It's because when you turn 65, almost all of it gets taken care of, right? And so again, we're creating, but I think the real risk is we're creating this paralysis, this like fear, this, it's an agency risk basically that tells the investor, the saver, hey, you're never going to make it because I've shown you these numbers that are just so crazy, so don't even bother, right? And that is a real risk out there, and that's where I do think, the advice in the asset management industry have overplayed their hand just a little bit. I mean, I think there's another risk where you have people who are only consuming and not doing any saving. That's for real, right? But on the other hand, the people who are saving are probably saving quite enough, and the risk is that agency risk again.
Finding a happy medium when it comes to retirement planning. You just heard from Scott Burns. He is the Global Director of Fund Research at Morningstar. I'm Ron DeLegge with ETF Guide. Thanks for joining us.